Deep in space, far from any known routes, there was an asteroid field. Most of the rocks were small, broken, drifting without purpose, but one of them was different. It was massive, dark, still almost perfectly shaped. It did not spin like the others. It did not drift. It stayed in one place as if something inside it was holding it steady. For a long time, no one noticed it. No one cared. Until one day, an alien mining fleet entered the field. Their ships were large and strong, built to break asteroids and extract resources. They had traveled across many systems searching for valuable materials. To them, this field looked promising, rich, untouched, easy work. The fleet spread out. Scanning each asteroid, most showed normal results. Rock, metal, nothing unusual. But then, one ship detected something strange. "Commander, we are picking up a signal." The command ship turned its sensors toward the source, the massive asteroid. "What kind of signal?" the commander asked. The officer checked again. "Very weak, very old." "Translate it." The system worked quickly. The message appeared on the screen. "Do not open." The command room went quiet. The words were simple, clear, but strange. "Open," one officer said. "It is an asteroid." The commander narrowed his eyes. "Scan it again." The sensors focused on the object. This time, the results were different. The outer layer looked natural, rock dust, but underneath, something else, metal, structured, engineered. "This is not just an asteroid," the scientist said. "It is artificial." The commander leaned forward. "A structure?" "Yes." "Inside the rock?" "Yes." The room became tense. A hidden structure buried inside an asteroid. That meant only one thing. Someone had put it there. A long time ago. "Origin?" the commander asked. The scientist studied the data. "Human." The word changed everything. Humans. A species that had disappeared long ago. Their technology had been found in ruins across the galaxy. Their history was unclear. Their end was unknown. But one thing was certain: they had been powerful. "If this is human," the commander said slowly, "then it could be valuable. Or dangerous." No one said the second part out loud. The signal repeated again. "Do not open." One of the younger officers spoke. "Commander? Maybe we should leave it." The commander looked at him. "Why?" "It feels like a warning." The commander gave a small smile. "From a dead species?" No one replied. The logic was simple. If humans were gone, then their warnings meant nothing. They could not defend anything. They could not stop anyone. The commander made his decision. "Prepare mining units." The order spread through the fleet. Large drilling ships moved closer to the asteroid, positioning carefully, scanning. For weak points, the signal continued. "Do not open," again and again, but no one listened. The drills activated. Powerful beams cut into the surface. Rock began to break. Part dust spread into space, slowly. Layer by layer, the outer shell was removed. The deeper they cut, the stranger it became. The rock was not natural, all the way through. Parts of it had been placed, designed, built, to hide what was inside. This was intentional, the scientist said. "A cover. For what?" the commander asked. No one knew. The drills reached a harder layer, metal, smooth, dark. The true surface of the structure. The signal suddenly changed. Stronger. Now, clearer. "Do not open." This time, it did not sound weak. It sounded urgent. The mining crews hesitated for just a moment. "Continue," the commander ordered. The drills pushed forward. Sparks flew as they cut into the metal. The sound echoed through the ships. A deep vibration followed. Low, heavy, felt. More than heard. "Did you feel that?" one worker asked. "Yes," another replied. "That came from inside." The commander frowned. "Report." "Unknown internal movement detected." "Movement?" the commander repeated. "That is not possible," another officer said. "It has been sealed for centuries, or longer," the scientist added. Drills broke through. A section of the metal surface opened. A dark entrance appeared. Cold air, or something like it, escaped into space. The signal stopped. Completely. Silence filled the system. No message, no warning. Nothing. The sudden quiet felt worse. The commander stared at the opening. Well, he said slowly, it is open. No one felt relief. The darkness inside the structure looked deep, endless, unnatural. Send in drones, the commander ordered. Small exploration drones moved forward. Their lights turned on. They entered the opening. Inside, darkness. Cold metal walls, perfectly shaped corridors, not broken, not damaged, preserved. This is not a tomb, the scientist whispered. Drones moved deeper. Their lights revealed long halls. Clean, empty. Silent. No bones, no remains, no signs of decay. Everything looked untouched, as if it had been waiting. For who? The officer asked quietly. No one answered. The drones turned a corner and stopped. What is that? One operator said. The camera. Focused. A massive door sealed, marked with symbols, warning, stronger than before, clearer, bolder. Shaktu. Not open. The words were written across the surface. Not just a signal now, a physical warning. The commander stared at it, then spoke. Open it. The crew hesitated. This does not feel right, the scientist said. The commander did not look at him. It is just a door. The drone moved closer. It extended. A tool touched the surface. At that exact moment, the entire structure reacted. Lights turned on across every corridor. Deep inside the asteroid, something powered on. The vibration returned. Stronger, deeper, alive. The signal came back louder than ever. You were warned. The crew froze. Inside the structure, something had awakened, and it was not going back to sleep. The structure was no longer silent. A deep hum moved through the metal walls. Lights turned on one by one, spreading through the corridors like a slow wave. Drones hovered in front of the massive door. The warning was still there. Do not open, but now it glowed, bright, alive. The alien crew watched from their ships. One spoke for a moment. What did we just activate? One officer whispered. The scientist stared at the readings. Power systems, he said slowly. Multiple systems coming online. How many? The commander asked. The scientist checked again. Too many. That answer did not help. The commander looked at the door. Open it, he repeated. The order was clear. The drones moved closer. Their tools pressed against the sealed surface. The metal was strong, stronger than anything they had cut before. This door is designed to stay closed, the scientist said, but it is not sealed completely, another officer replied. There are control points. Then use them, the commander said. The drones adjusted their tools. They began working on the edges carefully, slowly, trying to unlock instead of destroy. Inside the structure, the hum grew louder. More systems, activated far deeper than the drones could see. The warning changed. It was no longer repeating the same words. Now it was different, more direct, more final, unauthorized access. The crew exchanged nervous looks. That sounds like a system alert, one officer said. It is, the scientist replied. And we triggered it. The commander remained calm. All systems react when accessed. That is normal. But his voice was not as confident as before. The drones continued their work. Locks began to shift. Hidden mechanisms responded. The door was opening, slowly, very slowly. The gap appeared first, a thin line of darkness. Then it widened. A cold mist escaped from inside, not air, something else, something preserved. The drones moved their lights forward. The beam entered the room and revealed what was inside. Rows, endless. Rows. The crew leaned closer to their screens. What is that? Someone asked. The light grew stronger. More details appeared. Objects. Large metal, shaped with purpose. Weapons. Human. Weapons, not broken, not damaged. Perfect, stored. In place. Organized in long lines, each one ready to be used. The entire command room went silent. This is not a tomb, the scientist said. His voice was low, almost afraid. This is storage. The commander stared at the screen. How many weapons are we looking at? The scientist scanned the room. Thousands, and that was just one room. The drones moved further inside. Careful, slow. Their lights revealed more different types of weapons, some small, some massive, some connected to the floor, some suspended in place, each one labeled, each one marked human. Symbols covered the walls, instructions, warnings, designations. This is an armory, the scientist said, a massive one. The word changed. Everything armory, not a place for the dead, a place for war. Scan for energy, the commander ordered. The results came quickly. Low power levels detected, but increasing. From where? Everywhere. The structure was waking up fully. The drones turned toward another door inside the room, smaller, but still sealed, marked with different symbols. This leads deeper, the scientist said. To what? The commander asked. The scientist did not answer, because he did not know. The warning appeared. Again, not just on the door, on every screen, across every ship. Unauthorized access. Leave immediately. The crew shifted, uncomfortably. That is new, one officer said. They are updating the warning, another replied. The commander's expression hardened. It is just a system, response, but now even he was not fully sure outside. The fleet detected something. Commander, we are picking up signals. From where? The asteroid. That is expected, he said, but the officer shook his head. Not just inside. The commander looked up. What do you mean? The main screen changed, showing space around the asteroid. At first, nothing, then shapes, faint, hidden, large objects buried in the rock, and some floating just outside it. They were hidden, the scientist said. Hidden how? The commander asked. Cloaked or powered down. The shapes became clearer. Platforms, weapons. Defense systems, all pointed outward, all inactive. Before now activating. The commander's voice became sharp. Status of the fleet, all ships operational. Raise shields, the order spread. Instantly energy fields surrounded each ship. Weapons powered up. The mission had changed. This was no longer mining, this was a risk. Inside the armory, the drones moved deeper. They passed rows of weapons, then they found something else. Large shapes at the far end of the room. Covered, hidden under protective layers. The drones scanned them. The covering slowly moved, aside, revealing what was beneath ships, human ships, stored inside the asteroid. Perfect condition, fully armed, ready. This is not just an armory, the scientist said. It is a fleet. The realization hit everyone at once. This was not storage, this was preparation. Preparation for war. The system reacted. Again, lights turned brighter. The hum became louder, stronger, faster. The warning changed one final time. Defense system. Activated outside the first platform. Moved, slowly, turning toward the alien fleet. Weapons. Charging. Commander, the officer said, his voice shaking. They are targeting us. The commander stood still. For the first time, he hesitated, then prepare for combat. Inside the asteroid, the armory was fully awake, and it had already chosen its target. The system changed in seconds. What was silent before was now alive. Energy spread through the asteroid like fire. Every hidden system turned on. Every machine woke up. The hum inside the structure grew. Louder, deeper, stronger. It felt like something massive had just taken its first breath. Outside, the alien fleet held position, shields active, weapons ready, but no one fired, not yet. They were waiting, watching, trying to understand. Commander, multiple systems are locking onto us, an officer said. From where? The commander asked. Everywhere. The main screen filled with red. Markers, the asteroid, the platforms, the hidden ships, all targeting the fleet at the same time. This is a full defense network, the scientist said. Not just one system. An entire war structure. The commander's voice became firm. Hold position. But even as he said it, the first attack came. No warning, no sound. A beam of light, thin and precise, cut through space. It hit one of the outer ships. For a second, nothing happened. Then, the ship split in half. Clean. Perfect. No explosion. No debris. The pieces drifted apart, and then faded, gone, completely erased. The fleet froze. What was that? An officer shouted. No energy buildup detected. No impact warning. It just hit us. The commander reacted instantly. Return fire. The fleet opened fire. Dozens of weapons lit up the darkness. Energy blast struck the asteroid. The platforms, the surrounding. Space explosions filled the area. But when the light faded, the asteroid was still there, untouched. The platforms were still active, and the hidden ships had moved. They are repositioning. The officer yelled, "How?" The commander demanded. They were not there before. The ships had launched, silently, smoothly, from inside the asteroid. They spread out into space, taking perfect positions around the fleet. "This is not random," the scientist said. "They are forming a pattern." "What kind of pattern?" the commander asked. "A trap," the word landed, heavily. Before anyone could react, another beam fired. Another. Ship was hit, gone, no defense, no escape. The fleet broke. Formation. Ships moved in different directions, trying to avoid the attacks, trying to survive. "Stay together," the commander ordered. But it was too late. Panic had started. Inside the asteroid, deeper systems activated. The armory was no longer just awake. It was fully operational. Doors opened across the structure, more weapons powered up, more ships prepared for launch. Everything moved with purpose. Everything followed a plan. "This is not automated behavior," the scientist said. "There is control behind this." "Control?" the commander repeated. "Yes," the scientist replied. "Strategy." Outside, the human ships moved faster now. They did not rush. They did not chase. They predicted. Each alien movement was met with a response. Each attempt to escape was blocked. "They know where we are going," one officer said. "No," the scientist corrected. "They know where we will go." That was worse, much worse. Another alien ship tried to jump out of the system. Jump drive charging. Hope filled the command deck. Then, jump failed. "Why?" the commander demanded. "Navigation systems blocked." "By what?" "Unknown interference." The ship slowed, stopped. A human vessel appeared beside. It was silent, dark. It fired once. The alien ship vanished. The fleet was no longer fighting. It was being removed. Piece by piece. The commander watched the screen. His hands were tight. "This is impossible," he said. But it was happening, right in front of him. The scientist spoke again. "This armory was not built to store weapons." "Then what was it built for?" the commander asked. The answer came, quickly. "To use them." The truth was clear now. This was not a hidden base. This was a ready system, a defense designed to activate instantly. A war machine, waiting for a threat. And they had become that threat inside the asteroid. A central system came online. Deep, hidden, powerful. Core, not just machines, not just programs. Something more. It processed everything. The fleet. Their movements, their tactics, their fear, and it responded. Perfectly cold, precise, unstoppable. Outside, the battle continued, or what was left of it. The alien fleet was shrinking. "Fast, too fast, Commander. We have lost over half the fleet." The numbers kept dropping, every second, every moment. Ships disappeared. Without warning, without resistance. "We need to retreat," one officer shouted. "We cannot win this." The commander knew it. He saw it clearly. But retreat was not simple. "Set course away from the asteroid," he ordered. The remaining ships turned engines, pushed to full power. They tried to escape. But the system reacted. Immediately, more platforms activated, more ships moved into position, blocking every path. "They are closing all exits," the officer said. The fleet was surrounded, trapped. The commander looked at the screen, at the asteroid, at the silent machines, at the destruction. He finally understood. The warning had been real. Do not open, not a threat, not a bluff, a fact. They had ignored it, and now they were paying the price. Another ship vanished, then another. The fleet was almost gone. The armory continued its work, without anger, without hesitation, without error. The war had begun, and it was already ending. The alien fleet was falling apart. Ships moved in panic. Commands overlapped. Signals broke. Nothing worked the way it should. And still, the human armory did not rush. It did not chase. It did not waste power. It moved with control. Perfect control. Outside the asteroid, the hidden ships spread into position. They formed a wide circle around what was left of the fleet. Not tight, not aggressive, just enough to close every path. "They are surrounding us," one officer said. The commander did not reply. He was watching, learning, trying to understand. Another alien ship tried to escape. Its engines burned bright. It pushed forward with everything it had. For a moment, it looked like it might break through. Then, a human ship appeared in front of it. No warning, no signal, just there, waiting. It fired once. The alien ship vanished, gone. No explosion, no debris, nothing. The fleet slowed again. Fear was now everywhere. Inside the command ship, the scientist spoke quietly. "This is not normal technology." "What do you mean?" the commander asked. "They are not just firing weapons," the scientist said. "They are removing targets." The commander looked at him. "Explain." The scientist pointed at the data. "There is no heat, no debris, no energy spread." "Then what is happening?" The scientist hesitated. "We do not know." That answer was worse than anything else. Inside the asteroid, deeper systems activated. The armory was revealing more of itself. Doors opened in lower sections. Massive chambers lit up. Inside them, more ships, larger than the ones outside, heavier, stronger, built for war. "They have more," the scientist said. "Much more." The commander's voice hardened. "Then why are they not using everything?" The scientist looked at the screen. "Because they do not need to." That was the truth. The armory was not struggling. It was not defending. It was controlling the fight. Every move was planned. Every action was measured. Inside the central core of the asteroid, something changed. A new signal appeared. Not a warning, not a system alert, a command. It spread through every part of the armory, every ship, every platform, every weapon, all connected, all responding. The system was not just active. It was thinking. The scientist saw it first. "Commander." "What?" the commander asked. "There is a central intelligence." The commander turned. "A computer." The scientist shook his head. More than that. The main screen shifted, showing a new image, deep inside the asteroid. A chamber, different from the others. Not for weapons, not for ships, for control. At the center, a structure, tall, dark, covered in human symbols. Energy moved through it, slow, steady, alive. "This is the core," the scientist said. "The control center." "Who is controlling it?" the commander asked. The scientist did not answer immediately. Then he said quietly, "Something human." The words felt heavy. The commander stared at the screen. "Humans are gone." "Yes," the scientist said. "But this remained." Outside, the armory continued its attack. The alien fleet was almost gone now. Only a few ships remained, the command ship and a small number of escorts. They stayed close together, trying to protect each other, trying to survive. "Commander, we cannot hold much longer." The commander nodded slowly. He knew. Everyone knew. This was the end. But still, he needed to understand. Inside the asteroid, the core pulsed. The system processed the final stage. Threat level, minimal. Remaining targets few, outcomes certain. The human ships adjusted position again, not rushing, not wasting movement. Each one took a final place. Perfect alignment. Perfect coverage. "They are preparing something," the scientist said. "What kind of attack?" the commander asked. The scientist looked at the data, coordinated, all at once. Every human ship fired, not randomly, not wildly. Together, the beams crossed space, connecting, forming a pattern. The remaining alien ships were caught in it. For a second, time felt frozen. Then, they disappeared. All of them. At the same time, gone. The command ship remained, alone, surrounded. The silence returned, but it was not empty. It was controlled. The commander stood still. His crew was quiet. No one spoke. No one moved. The scientist looked at the final readings. "We are the last," The commander nodded. Yes. He looked at the asteroid again, at the armory, at the machines, at the system that had destroyed everything. This was never a tomb, he said. No, the scientist replied. It was never meant to be. The truth was clear now. This place was built for one purpose: to defend, to eliminate, to protect something important, something hidden. The commander took a slow breath. Open a channel. The officer hesitated. To who? The commander answered. To it. The channel opened. Silence filled the line. For a moment, nothing happened. Then, a signal returned. Not words, not a voice, just presence. Cold, watching. The commander spoke. We did not understand. No response. We thought this place was empty. Still nothing. We were wrong. The silence continued, but it felt different now. Not empty. Listening. The commander lowered his voice. This is not a tomb. He paused. It is a weapon. The signal remained, unchanged, unmoved. The commander closed his eyes for a second, then opened them again. We accept that. Inside the asteroid, the core pulsed once, the final command prepared. The war was ending, and the armory had already won. The alien fleet was falling apart. Ships moved in panic. Commands overlapped. Signals broke. Nothing worked the way it should. And still, the human armory did not rush. It did not chase. It did not waste power. It moved with control. Perfect control. Outside the asteroid, the hidden ships spread into position. They formed a wide circle around what was left of the fleet. Not tight, not aggressive, just enough to close every path. They are surrounding us, one officer said. The commander did not reply. He was watching, learning, trying to understand. Another alien ship tried to escape. Its engines burned bright. It pushed forward with everything it had. For a moment, it looked like it might break through. Then, a human ship appeared in front of it. No warning, no signal, just there, waiting. It fired once. The alien ship vanished, gone. No explosion, no debris, nothing. The fleet slowed again. Fear was now everywhere. Inside the command ship, the scientist spoke quietly. This is not normal technology. What do you mean? The commander asked. They are not just firing weapons, the scientist said. They are removing targets. The commander looked at him. Explain. The scientist pointed at the data. There is no heat, no debris, no energy spread. Then what is happening? The scientist hesitated. We do not know. That answer was worse than anything else. Inside the asteroid, deeper systems activated. The armory was revealing more of itself. Doors opened in lower sections. Massive chambers lit up. Inside them, more ships, larger than the ones outside, heavier, stronger, built for war. They have more, the scientist said. Much more. The commander's voice hardened. Then why are they not using everything? The scientist looked at the screen. Because they do not need to. That was the truth. The armory was not struggling. It was not defending. It was controlling the fight. Every move was planned. Every action was measured. Inside the central core of the asteroid, something changed. A new signal appeared, not a warning, not a system alert, a command. It spread through every part of the armory, every ship, every platform, every weapon, all connected, all responding. The system was not just active. It was thinking. The scientist saw it first. Commander. What? The commander asked. There is a central intelligence. The commander turned. A computer. The scientist shook his head. More than that. The main screen shifted, showing a new image, deep inside the asteroid. A chamber, different from the others. Not for weapons, not for ships, for control. At the center, a structure, tall, dark, covered in human symbols. Energy moved through it, slow, steady, alive. This is the core, the scientist said. The control center. Who is controlling it? The commander asked. The scientist did not answer immediately. Then he said quietly, "Something human." The words felt heavy. The commander stared at the screen. "Humans are gone." "Yes," the scientist said. But this remained. Outside, the armory continued its attack. The alien fleet was almost gone now. Only a few ships remained, the command ship and a small number of escorts. They stayed close together, trying to protect each other, trying to survive. "Commander, we cannot hold much longer." The commander nodded slowly. He knew. Everyone knew. This was the end. But still, he needed to understand. Inside the asteroid, the core pulsed. The system processed the final stage. Threat level, minimal. Remaining targets few, outcomes certain. The human ships adjusted position again, not rushing, not wasting movement. Each one took a final place. Perfect alignment. Perfect coverage. "They are preparing something," the scientist said. "What kind of attack?" the commander asked. The scientist looked at the data, coordinated, all at once. Every human ship fired, not randomly, not wildly. Together, the beams crossed space, connecting, forming a pattern. The remaining alien ships were caught in it. For a second, time felt frozen. Then, they disappeared. All of them. At the same time, gone. The command ship remained, alone, surrounded. The silence returned, but it was not empty. It was controlled. The commander stood still. His crew was quiet. No one spoke. No one moved. The scientist looked at the final readings. "We are the last." The commander nodded. Yes. He looked at the asteroid again, at the armory, at the machines, at the system that had destroyed everything. "This was never a tomb," he said. "No," the scientist replied. "It was never meant to be." The truth was clear now. This place was built for one purpose: to defend, to eliminate, to protect something important, something hidden. The commander took a slow breath. "Open a channel." The officer hesitated. "To who?" the commander answered. "To it." The channel opened. Silence filled the line. For a moment, nothing happened. Then, a signal returned. Not words, not a voice, just presence. Cold, watching. The commander spoke. "We did not understand." No response. "We thought this place was empty." Still nothing. "We were wrong." The silence continued, but it felt different now. Not empty. Listening. The commander lowered his voice. "This is not a tomb." He paused. "It is a weapon." The signal remained, unchanged, unmoved. The commander closed his eyes for a second, then opened them again. "We accept that." Inside the asteroid, the core pulsed once, the final command prepared. The war was ending, and the armory had already won. The command ship floated alone. No fleet, no support, no escape. Just silence. The darkness around it felt heavier now, not empty. Controlled. The alien commander stood still, staring at the main screen. The asteroid remained in front of them, cold, silent, unmoving, but now they knew the truth. It was not dead. It had never been dead. It had only been waiting. "Status," the commander said quietly. The officer checked the systems. His hands moved. Slowly, carefully. Shields unstable. Weapons limited. Navigation blocked. The commander nodded. There was nothing left to fix. Nothing left to try. The scientist stepped forward. "The system is not attacking us yet," he said. The commander looked at him. "Why?" The scientist hesitated. "It does not need to." That answer made sense. Everything had been calculated. Everything had been controlled. There was no rush, no anger, no revenge, only purpose. Inside the asteroid, the core remained active. Watching, processing, the final threat still existed. The command ship, one target, one decision. The system did not hesitate. It simply prepared. Outside, the human ships adjusted their positions again, slowed, precise. They moved closer to the command ship, not in a rush, not aggressively, just enough to surround it completely. No path left. No direction open. The commander watched them. They are closing in, one officer said. Yes, the commander replied. He did not sound afraid. He sounded calm because now he understood. This was never about us, he said. The scientist looked at him. What do you mean? The commander pointed at the asteroid. This system was not built to fight wars. He paused. It was built to end them. The truth settled over the room. This was not a battlefield. It was a final defense, a line that could not be crossed. The scientist spoke again. This means there may be more like this. The commander did not answer, because that thought was too heavy. If one system could do this, what about others? The silence grew deeper. Then, the system acted. Inside the asteroid, the core pulsed. A final command spread through every connected unit. Final threat confirmed. Engagement authorized. The human ships powered up. Energy gathered at their weapons. But it was different this time, stronger, more focused. The commander saw it immediately. This is the end, he said. The officer looked at him. Commander, should we send a message? The commander thought for a moment, then nodded. Yes. The communication system flickered, barely working. But enough. Open all channels, the commander ordered. To who? The officer asked. The commander looked at the stars, at anyone. The transmission began, weak, broken, but real. This system is not empty. The signal struggled to stay active. This is a human defense structure. The commander paused, choosing his words carefully. It is not a tomb. His voice became firm. It is an armory. The message continued. If you detect this signal, the lights flickered again. Do not enter. The system around them reacted. Interference increased. The message began to fade. Do not open. The final words echoed. Anything. The transmission ended. Silence returned. The commander lowered his head slightly. It is done. Inside the asteroid, the core processed the message. It did not respond. It did not change. The outcome remained the same. The human ships moved into final position. Perfect alignment, perfect timing. The commander looked at the screen, at the ships, at the weapons charging. He did not panic. He did not shout. He simply accepted it. We were warned, he said quietly. The scientist nodded. Yes, they had ignored it. Now they understood. Too late. The human ships fired. At the same time, energy crossed space. Focused, precise. The command ship was surrounded by light. A moment, everything disappeared in brightness. Then, darkness. The command ship was gone. No explosion, no debris, no trace, only empty space. The system went silent again. The human ships powered down slowly, calmly. Their mission was complete. Inside the asteroid, the core confirmed it. Threat eliminated. System secure. The armory began to shut down. Weapons powered off. Ships returned to their positions. Doors closed. Lights dimmed. Everything moved back into place like nothing had ever happened. But one thing remained active. The warning. The signal spread. Again, clear, unbroken, do not open. The asteroid returned to silence. Cold. Still. Hidden. But no longer unknown. The truth had been revealed and the price had been paid. The system was quiet again. Not just silent. Still, like nothing had ever happened. The stars burned far away, cold and distant. The asteroid field drifted slowly, unchanged. Small rocks moved in endless paths, colliding softly, breaking apart, reforming again. And at the center of it all, the massive asteroid remained. Dark, heavy, unmoving. Its surface looked broken and natural once more. Dust covered the cuts made by the alien drills. The entrance they had forced open was no longer visible. Sealed again. hidden again, as if the asteroid had healed itself, as if it had never been touched. Inside, the armory was asleep. Lights were off. Systems were silent. Endless rows of weapons stood in darkness. Ships rested in their docks. Platforms were locked in place. Everything was exactly as it had been before, waiting. Deep in the core, the central system remained. Faint, slow, barely active, but not gone. Never gone. It processed one final check. Threat eliminated. System stable. Returning to standby. The last command echoed softly, then silence. Complete. The armory became a tomb again, or at least, that was how it looked. Outside, space remained calm. No signals, no movement, no sign of the fleet that had entered. Everything had been erased. Clean, perfect, as if the system itself had removed every trace. Time passed. Hours, days, maybe longer. Out here, time had little meaning. Nothing changed. Nothing moved. The asteroid stayed quiet, hidden among countless others, just another rock, just another piece of space. But far away, at the edge of the system, something appeared. A small probe. Not large, not powerful, just a simple observer. It moved slowly, carefully. Its sensors scanned the area, collecting data, recording everything. It had not come to mine. It had not come to fight. It had come to learn. As it moved deeper into the field, it detected something, a signal. Very faint, almost gone, but still repeating. Do not open. The probe paused. It adjusted its sensors, focused on the signal. The source appeared. The large asteroid, dark, still. Nothing unusual at first look. The probe scanned it. Rock, metal traces, nothing active, nothing dangerous, no visible systems, no weapons, no energy spikes. Everything looked safe. Everything looked dead. The probe processed the data, compared it with its records. Nothing matched. No known threat, no known structure, just a strange signal. Do not open. The message repeated again. Simple, clear, easy to ignore. The probe moved closer, slowly, carefully. Its sensors pushed deeper, scanning for hidden systems, hidden weapons, hidden energy. Nothing. The asteroid remained quiet, still, unmoving. The probe continued forward, closer, closer than before, closer than the alien fleet had been before they started drilling. The signal grew slightly stronger. Do not open. The probe paused again. Something felt off, not in emotion, but in data. The silence, the emptiness, the lack of activity. It was too perfect, too clean. The probe checked its memory. Old fragments appeared, broken signals, lost reports, missing fleets, unanswered questions, patterns that had never been solved, until now. The probe compared the data again, the signal, the silence, the hidden structure, and something matched, not fully, but enough to create doubt. The probe stopped moving. It remained still in space. For a long moment, scanning, thinking, processing, the asteroid did not react. It did not move. It did not reveal anything. It simply waited. Just like before, just like always, the message repeated again. Do not open. The probe listened. This time, it did not ignore it. It analyzed it, carefully. The words were simple, but their meaning was clear. Not a threat, not a trick, a warning, a real one. The probe made a decision. Slowly, it turned away. No sudden movement, no signal sent, no closer approach. It left the asteroid behind. The distance grew. The signal became weaker, fainter, but still there. Do not open. The probe stored the message. saved it, marked it. Important, to be shared, to be remembered. Back in the asteroid field, nothing changed. The armory remained silent, hidden, waiting. The weapons did not move. The ships did not wake. The system did not react, because it did not need to. The warning had worked. For the first time, someone had listened. The asteroid drifted quietly, just another rock in the endless dark. But it was not empty. It was never empty. It was a guardian, a final defense. Left behind by a species that refused to leave nothing behind. Humanity was gone, their cities lost, their voices silent, but their will remained, their power remained, their purpose remained. They had built something that did not forget, something that did not fail, something that did exactly what it was made to do. Protect, no matter how long it took, no matter who came. The stars continued to burn, the universe continued to move. But in one small place, nothing would ever change. Because the armory would wait forever, and if anyone ignored the warning again, it would wake, and it would end everything. Once more.